Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of our video contributions for COBB tuning. Today I will be installing the COBB SF Airbox for our Gen 2 MAZDASPEED3. Well, let's get started. Inside the box, we will find the COBB Airbox, the Airbox lid, the fresh air hose, both clamps needed for the hose, a couple of COBB stickers, a thank you card with the web address for installation instructions, and all necessary hardware. To install the COBB SF Airbox, the following tools will be needed: a 3/8 ratchet, a 10mm socket, a 6-inch extension, a flathead screwdriver, a 3mm Allen bit or a 3mm Allen wrench, and a general purpose hacksaw. Using our 3mm Allen bit, we will remove both the screws holding on the mass airflow sensor and remove it. We will then loosen the clamp connecting the intake elbow to the mass airflow housing. Using a 10mm socket, remove the two nuts securing the mass airflow housing bracket. Then remove the MAF housing, bracket, and filter assembly as one unit. Loosen the clamp holding the filter onto the mass airflow housing and remove the filter. Using a 10mm socket, loosen the four nuts on the mass airflow housing, two in front and two in back. Remove the nut, lock washer, and flat washer from the front side of the mass airflow housing. You can now remove the bracket from the mass airflow housing. We will now remove the two nuts, lock washers, and flat washers from the bracket, allowing us to remove the rubber isolators. We will now place the mass airflow housing onto the airbox. We can then place the mass airflow housing bracket onto the mass airflow housing using a nylon washer, a lock washer, and finally an Allen keyed bolt. We then repeat this process for the other two holes, and then finish by tightening just the upper right Allen-headed bolt, allowing the lower two to stay loose to make adjustment easier when installing this into the vehicle. We will now take our fresh air ducting with the Mazda logo facing upward. What we will be doing is counting over to the second rib or the second indentation and using a hacksaw to hack through the plastic. I've used a flathead screwdriver to push the ribs into the hose. Take your time and take it slow. When installing the airbox, you'll need to balance putting the mounting bracket onto the studs while clearing the fuse box with the airbox and getting the mass airflow housing into the intake elbow. Be sure to tighten the clamp connecting the hose to the fresh air duct before installation. Gently lift up on the airbox, pushing the hose underneath it just enough for the fresh air duct to be backed up back into original position, and then connect the hose to the airbox itself. We can now tighten the clamps from the hose to the airbox and from the intake elbow to the mass airflow housing unit. With the airbox securely in place, you can now tighten up the two Allen key bolts going through the back of the mounting bracket through to the airbox. We will now replace the filter back onto the mass airflow housing unit and secure it by tightening down the filter clamp. Then place the COBB Airbox lid on top of the airbox itself. Go ahead and at this time reattach the mass airflow sensor into the mass airflow housing, securing it with the two bolts with either a 3mm Allen wrench or a 3mm Allen bit. Using our four Allen key bolts along with nylon washers, we will now secure the lid to the airbox itself. And just like that, your COBB SF Airbox installation is complete. All the benefits of an SF intake now coupled with the lower intake temperatures now that the filter is boxed off from the rest of the hot engine bay, with the factory fresh air tube supplying the box with the coldest air possible. Thank you for watching and stay tuned as we dive deeper each week into what COBB tuning has to offer for your MAZDASPEED 3.